This is Greg Strange with the latest in our series of business vidcasts from the Institute of Directors. And with me is the IoD Director General, Miles Templeman. Well, Miles, it won't have escaped anybody's attention that we are in the grip, whether they admit it or not, of the big R, the big recession. You've been travelling the country talking to a number of smaller businesses. What's the general take on whether we have a recession or not?
Well, we clearly are statistically in a recession, but the key thing about it now is not to keep worrying whether we're in it or not, but actually say, what are we going to do about it? How are small businesses going to handle it? Many of them are still doing fine, so they haven't really felt it yet. They all will feel it next year. It's how we respond to that, what actions we can take to improve it that really matter.
Well, of course, the efficient are going to be the ones that survive. So presumably the first thing any director has got to do is to look at the efficiency of his or her own business.
Absolutely. I mean, what you find at these times is that the good businesses actually do much better than the bad. The gap gets wider. And therefore, how do businesses improve their efficiency, their cost base, their energy consumption, the way they're using their labour, all of their materials, etc. All businesses are now looking at that. And most of all, they're worrying about cash.
Well, the cash flow, and it has been a nightmare for all small businesses for the last 2 decades. We've seen Gordon Brown, as Prime Minister, instructing government departments to pay within 10 days. Would it be so in the rest of the market?
Absolutely. And the worst payers are the big companies, the big supermarkets where you're dealing with them. The government itself is a bad payer very often. The public sector is a poor payer. We've got to make everyone pay up on time.
Is there a case for some form of initiative to get the big companies to sign up to some form of undertaking that they might just do that and pay within 30 days?
I don't know how you do it. I think name and shame is the only way, really. I think the government's got to come out and say if you don't pay on time, then you're not doing a service to the country or indeed to other companies. And they've got to make these companies toe the line.
There are some statistics that suggest as much as £120 billion is out there owed at any one time to the 4 million plus small businesses in this country. That's a devil of a lot of money.
It is indeed. And when you're a small company, it can be the difference between life and death. So somehow we've got to crack this one. It's not the only issue, but it is a very important one.
Isn't one of the problems about name and shame that somebody's got to name the big boy who hasn't paid them? And the fear is, of course, that if they denounce them to the authorities or to whatever website is set up for this purpose, that they might never get business from that company again.
You're absolutely right. Small companies can't do it themselves. Others have got to do it on their behalf. And we've got to create a climate where big companies, in order to help their reputation, don't take this action.
So what you're actually saying is the big companies need to almost sign up for something themselves. I mean, is it something which the IoD could help lead?
We've certainly talked a lot about it, and we've discussed with Burr about how they could force this through. We haven't got a technique, I don't think, yet. Therefore, I think we're still in the realms of exhortation. But I do think the government could champion it more.
Is it just a matter of cash flow, of cash, of getting that money through?
Not just that. I think the other thing the government should do is reduce interest rates. I think that should be done forthwith. They've got to force it. Inflation's not the issue anymore. Interest rates will send an important signal as well as help a lot of small companies.
Some people have said 0 interest rates, even for a few weeks.
That would be wonderful. I can't see that happening, but certainly significant 1% and then eventually 2% reduction is what we need.